This is great. If you'll indulge me for just 1 second, I'm a big social media fan, so I just want to take a picture that I'll be tweeting out later today once I'm done my talk. Nah, still working on it. I'll get to that at the end. As Tim said, my name is Ed White. I'm the Vice President of Customer Strategy and Environmental for National Grid. So really, what does that mean? It means with an expert team, I get to help create the energy future that Abigail just described in the speakers before, and help save the planet all at the same time. And at National Grid, and one thing I would say is not every utility is created equal. And while some utilities are desperately trying to preserve the existing business model and trying to keep and preserve the past, National Grid has a long track record of implementing energy efficiency programs for years and years. I think back to when I was a kid growing up in the 70s and 80s, and I know I look so much younger. My parents, our idea of energy efficiency was, and many of you may relate to this, turn the lights off and make sure the front door is shut. Was that the only energy efficiency that was available in the 70s, at least at the White House, my White House, not the Pennsylvania White House? So that's how I was introduced to energy efficiency. And interestingly enough, my dad also used to say, and I never really quite understood this, what do you think? I work for the electric company? Fast forward to 2014, I do work for the electric company, and I'll tell you, there's not as many benefits as I thought. We're not getting free electricity or free gas. So for those of you that don't know National Grid, and I see most of friends and colleagues in the audience, we provide a service, an essential service, to about 7.5 million customers across 3 states, New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. We are thrilled to have the leadership that we've had over the years that have stood the test of time through different political regimes. And we've been proud to implement these programs for years and years. What we're also more excited about, and the reason I'm so excited to have what I would argue is the second best job at National Grid next to Tim's, and I'm just saying that because I'm sucking up because he is the president of Rhode Island operations. What I'm most excited about is this is a very dynamic time. As you heard from Gene and the speakers before me, this is a dynamic time. And how are we going to do all the work that we have to do while still connecting and thinking about scaling up efficiency? So what I would submit to you is the only way we do it is we get back to our roots. We get back to how energy efficiency first started. And there's some folks in the audience that were there when it all started. Sue's one of the pioneers. And when you think of NEEP, you think of the last letter in NEEP, which is partnership. Energy efficiency was formed by connecting partners, connecting different parts, different stakeholders, different parts of our ecosystem to achieve a common goal, a common objective. We need to do that same thing now. As we think about the massive amount of investment that's going to be needed in our grids across the country, and depending on which state or which report you look at, it's in the billions and billions of dollars, even in the trillions of dollars. We need to connect with our consumers. We need to connect with them in a much different way than we ever have before. When you think about the traditional utility business model, the only time you think about your service is typically when you get your bill, or if the lights go out, or the gas stops flowing, your service is interrupted. And I think about a lot of the different things that we do with our programs, and I'm thinking for 1 second, I didn't even show you my slide. Let me back up for a second. This is a marvelous feat. This is a satellite image of the United States. When you think about all the work that the utility companies do, and the energy providers do, it powers our economy. And we need to do it in a much more efficient way. One of the reports that I recently saw cited was that we waste more energy. We waste about 57% of the energy that's created. In 2014, we waste more energy than we use. That seems absurd. So the only way we're going to be able to scale up efficiency is integrate it much more deeply than we ever have in the past. We're also seeing weather patterns increase. We're seeing the damage of storms like Hurricane Irene, Superstorm Sandy, the October snowstorm, and a little bit of an ice storm that we had just before Christmas at the end of last year in upstate New York. And one of the benefits of working for a utility like National Grid is you get to see how a company responds. You get to see how we connect with our communities, how we connect with other utilities to come restore and put the lights back on. We've also seen significant flooding down here in Rhode Island. So as we think about the investment that's going to be needed in the core infrastructure and how we make it smarter and how we make it more interactive, as Abigail was mentioning, we need to do that in partnership, and we need to connect with all of you and build off of that history that is energy efficiency. My last slide is really about, and it goes back to the comment that was made earlier today. This is how we make it all cool. If we can connect with our customers and we can make it cool and engaging through the use of social media, through the use of technology, we can engage our customers on a much deeper platform. And when I think about all of the stuff that we're doing, I'm reminded by a little story, and I started to tell some of the folks this earlier today. I'm fortunate enough that the town I live in Medway, Massachusetts, was part of DOER's Solarize program. I'm just looking for Bobby. She's not here. I was going to give her a shout out. So my town was part of this Solarize program where we were able to buy down the cost of solar. And so I was able to install it on my roof. And I think about the simplest part of the whole application was they gave me an app. So every day I'm connecting into my app. I'm looking to see how much solar is being produced. This isn't something that we offer to everyone in today's age, but we need to. And I think if we can engage with customers and connect with customers in a much deeper way around energy, and I don't mean that everyone's going to be looking at their app constantly, but at least you'll have a choice to engage. At least you'll have a choice of how much energy you use, when you're using it, or how much it costs. And that's one of the things that excites me about the future and how we're going to scale up efficiency. The other thing that I'll mention, and we all know, as much as we've made a ton of progress in energy efficiency, we still have a lot more to do. I was struck by the story that was told to me the other day, and I won't divulge who it was, but he's a former commissioner in one of our states who admitted to me that he still hasn't participated in an energy efficiency program. And it's not because he doesn't believe. It's not because he just wants to waste money. It wasn't convenient enough for him. And so as we think about how we scale up efficiency, we have to think about how we offer it to customers and how we make it as simple as turning on the lights or turning up the heat. Or, in my case, checking my app to see how my solar's producing. So to me, that's exactly what we're hoping to do as we scale up efficiency. And I thank you for your time, and I can't wait for the dialogue later today.